What is up, guys? It is Carly here bringing you another installment to the It Was Only a Dollar series, and today I'm going to be talking about a movie that I just picked up yesterday at Dollar Tree. I hadn't been in there for a while really to look at movies or anything like that, and JP and I happened to be kind of out and about, and we both stopped in one and they had some films, so we decided to grab a few. I think I got 4, but the movie I'm talking about today is Anne from the year 2018, and I picked this one up because, I mean, I know it looks really generic by the cover and looks like I would be getting myself into trouble, but I just think it's funny. I picked this up as well as another one called Anna, or Anna, however you want to say it, and I think it's funny because these movies all kind of came out around the time that Annabelle was really popular, and I feel like it was just a lot of copycats trying to mimic that, because this is a doll movie and the other Anna movie I have is also a doll film, but they're completely unrelated, but they were both put out by the same company and both seem really generic, so I just couldn't help myself and had to grab them. So I decided to check this one out last night just out of curiosity, and it's also only like 80 minutes, so I thought it would be an easy watch. But basically the plot with this is you're following this mentally ill elderly woman. She lives alone in this house, and she has a doll collection, and you're pretty much following her the entire film as she sort of just does some questionable things and interacts weird with the dolls as if they are alive, and just you know, like I said, does weird stuff, like she'll be hitting her head off the wall, or she's always just kind of watching TV for long periods of time, or doing weird stuff with her facial expressions and stuff like that. Meanwhile, you have her son, who is, you know, a little concerned with her. I believe he lives next door, so he comes to check on her every once in a while, but that's essentially the film. There's not a lot of dialogue in it because the woman doesn't really talk. But she's not mute. She does talk a couple times. At first I thought she wasn't going to talk the whole film, but there are a few moments where she does have some speech, but because she lives alone, you're not getting too much besides those few moments, as well as whenever the sun comes by, which is, even then, it's not a lot. But yeah, this movie, it felt like it was trying to have like a creepy slow burn atmosphere to it. Almost felt like it was trying to mimic films such as The Visit in a way, where you just see older people doing bizarre, weird, disturbing things. But the problem is the story just is very lacking, and the attempts to be creepy don't really work at all. They're just not that scary. Some of it you could tell was like just filmed in daylight, and I felt like if they would have maybe shot it at nighttime, it would have been more effective, because you could see like the sun coming through, and it kind of ruins any creep factor that you would have gotten. The acting is not that good, especially by the son, and there's one other character that you're introduced to later on in the film who I thought was just not good, and their dialogue was pretty weak. They didn't really have many lines, and when they did speak, it just wasn't anything riveting or poetic, or what, if you want to call it that. So I will say the cinematography is actually pretty well done in the film. The camera work, you could tell that they did put good effort into it, and it doesn't look necessarily low budget, but it feels low budget because of what they were doing. I think they could have made this work because it is a woman who's not really talking that well, or not really talking too much, and it's essentially in one setting in this woman's house, so you could have made this work and be more effective on this low budget, but it just really doesn't, and it's honestly quite boring at times. Even though it is 80 minutes, there's just nothing that's really moving the story along. You're really just watching this lady, and she's interacting with dolls, and there's kind of like, another thing, there's like that generic sort of creepy score going on throughout the film, multiple different scores that are just, seems like the generic type of music you would get off of YouTube or something, so it doesn't work that well, and sometimes it's a little bit too loud, and I think it's to try to establish a scary moment, but it comes off as a bit obnoxious and annoying. And there is a twist at the end of the film that really comes out of nowhere and doesn't make much, it just feels irrelevant, so it doesn't make too much sense, because it really you know, not to give it away, like, I don't think many people are going to run out and watch this, but it's, like, not really relevant to the dolls or the lady at all, and more so for the son, and it just comes out of nowhere, like I said, and then that's the end of the film. There's really no big grand finale or anything like that, so overall, it really wasn't that good. I do feel bad because, like I said, the filmmaking was decent. You could tell the director of this film had a good mindset and had a decent idea, I think, with the story, but it just wasn't well developed. And you know, nifty filmmaking is cool after a certain point, but then after that, it's like you need more to your actual story to make it intriguing and not a bore fest, and that was the main problem with the film. So I give this one a 3.5 out of 10. As I was going along, I was like a little bit higher on it, but I just really can't go higher than a 3.5 because the story and the acting do not carry it too well at all. So 3.5 out of 10 for Anne. Not the worst thing I've ever seen, but definitely not the greatest thing in the world either. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video, and as always, I will talk to you in the next one.